All right, here's a quick video based on current events, but related to the theory we're doing on intelligence. Now, the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, pretty interesting, fired two top officials, which is interesting, from the National Intelligence Council. Now, why? Well, they did produce a report that contradicted Donald Trump. And that report essentially stated that El Tren de Aragua, that is this group, criminal gang of Venezuelans, was not promoted and supported by the Venezuelan government. And Trump, of course, has said they are, and that way he can use the Alien Enemies Act, right, when back in 1798, in order to deport Venezuelans and even to the Salvadoran prison. So you've watched other videos of mine and lectures about the politicization of intelligence. Is this the politicization of intelligence? That is up to you to decide, because their argument was, well, we want to change things not to politicize intelligence, but it does seem to me to be the politicization of intelligence, because if they wrote a report and then they concluded something from that report, should they be fired? And then they say, well, they're not fired for that, but it is it is pretty much a coincidence. So I'll let you decide on that. But this is essentially the politicization of intelligence and collecting, swarming, and all this stuff that we've been talking about, where they just swarm on a particular area when there might be other important areas. But most importantly, I think here we're dealing with the clear politicization of intelligence that happens in both Democrat and Republican administrations. It's not essentially just Trump. And why is this alarming from my point of view? Well, first of all, I really doubt, even though I don't like the Venezuelan government under Maduro and Vladimir Padrino, who is in the Ministerio de Defensa of Venezuela, he's the real power, and he actually studied in the United States to School of the Americas, is that the government clearly does not have a stake in a criminal gang like that. It does not want more criminality within Venezuela. Obviously, Venezuela has historically had huge crime rates in the major cities, even before Maduro took power, Chavez, etc. Don't forget Carlos Andres Perez, PAC, who we supported, murdered up to 3,000 innocent civilians in Venezuela under Caracaso, and that was when the first George Bush was president, before most of you were even born. So Venezuela has historically had these problems. I'm very incredulous on the idea that the Venezuelan government is promoting this. So it was probably the document's conclusion, or the research conclusion, is probably correct. And another question to pose as we finish here is it correct for the Trump administration to label these criminal gangs like El Tren de Aragua and others as terrorist organizations? It does seem good, right? This is a little theater Trump is very good at. We're going to name these people these criminal gangs terrorists if we classify them. But essentially, this has been going on way before the Trump administration. During the Obama administration, love him or hate him, I criticize Obama. You watch some videos on his stances on Equatorial Guinea and other African countries. But at the same time, this has been going on, not necessarily as terrorists, but they have been attacking these gangs in a similar way in which we've been attacking terrorist organizations. Remember, you don't have to be classified as a terrorist organization to be able to take down people. You saw that with the RICO Act in order to address the mafia in the United States. It wasn't that they're terrorists, but the RICO Act did allow the United States of America, the FBI, and other agencies to kind of suspend, from my understanding, the rights of people involved in criminal gangs. So this is a pretty interesting development. Should we be firing intelligence agents, especially ones that have been there for a long, long time doing research? And people will attribute this to the fact that they came to a conclusion that Donald Trump doesn't like. This type of politicization is not necessarily something that is just indicative of Trump. A lot of administrations do that. So start thinking about this, and we'll be applying a lot of this recent intelligent development in national security to the theories that we're doing. Moreover, yes, you might see I got a new chair. I got this. It's a gaming chair. And I got it, where do you think? Goodwill. I got it for like $30 or something. Thanks everyone for listening, and I'm excited to hear what you think.